Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys liked the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward.
Hey guys, Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. It's been quite a while since I've done these videos on a regular basis. I am now back from my European trip, so I am excited to get back to these videos. So today I'll be just reviewing a lot of different altcoins. I won't be going through BTC or ETH just because I'll be doing a lot of filming and I'm sure I'll review that a lot more. Uh, I will briefly actually review BTC right now, just because I think it's important to understand the market conditions. Um, as a whole, altcoins are kind of just chopping around. As you can see, they're not really like moving super strongly in either direction. It is important to understand the coins and the sectors that are moving strongly, which are the metaverse coins like Sand, Mana, Wild. Um, it's also important to understand too that like when BTC is in this type of environment where it's very indecisive, choppy, it's better to usually stay risk off and look to buy dips for altcoins and not really go all in and just again, it depends on your strategy, but this is not really like alt season by any means. And it's important to understand too, if you are trading altcoins actively, then you should focus on the hot sectors. So focus on metaverse coins, focus on ZK rollup coins, focus on the coins that are on different chains, like Harmony, like a Jewel, and stuff like that. But in general, I would not like actively trade like RSR or whatever. Like, it's not the environment. So that's the overall context. If Bitcoin shits the bed, then we will see altcoins pull back. Although for the most part, they've held up pretty well given like this dump. Um, they've pulled back, of course, a little bit, and it depends on which coin you're looking at. Well, actually, looking at this now, they actually pulled back quite a bit more than I thought they were. But yeah, anyways, we'll look more into some charts. I am excited to get back to the markets, and I've been really out of touch with them for the most part. It's also important to understand too that certain altcoins were really pumping in terms of the exchange. Like KuCoin altcoins were really doing very well uh, few the last few weeks. So those might be getting close to an end, but we'll see. Anyways, let's review some of these charts. These are all requests I did on Twitter. So this is MATIC USD. MATIC looks okay to me. It is in a bullish market structure. So what we're seeing right now is we can see higher highs and higher lows. And this is potentially a low forming right now, but I mean, the trend, in my opinion, looks pretty clear to me on the 1 day. And in my opinion, it's just forming a low. And with that said, I don't necessarily know if it's like a great active trade. Like you could maybe just hope to wait for this low to form and then like a higher high. And of course, there is going to be quite a bit of selling activity around this top area, like the all-time high levels. Like this is like pretty. This will probably be a good short around that area, like at least on the first go, for several reasons. Number one, there's just going to be leftover sellers from that area, and the length of time spent in between each area, this is usually a factor. So like the longer time spent in between each uh, each tap of this support or resistance area, usually you call it like first test, best test. Like this area will be a good shorting area initially. I don't know how deep the pullback will be, and it will also depend on how it gets there, but this should be a good short. But anyways, I think that a higher low is probably forming now. I would like to see this 150 area kind of hold, and if Bitcoin does shit the bed and kind of like, then I think that this area somewhere along like this 150 to $1. I know this is like a huge gap, but like there's going to be some bullshit support level within this chop that works as support. You also scale down to lower time frames to like look for them. Litecoin looks pretty okay. I mean, this was lagging quite a bit from Bitcoin in general. and ETH, like, ETH and BTC were doing pretty well, and LTC was doing nothing. So usually, like, it's not a bad idea to play the laggard. This overall, this order block, this supply zone, whatever you want to call it, this acted as resistance, as you can see, around the $300 area. And really, price was filling out this inefficiency that we saw back in May from that May dump. Price never really filled that in fully. I mean, we saw a little bit of a test in September, as you can see here, but there was the rest of this inefficiency to fill, and so it filled that, and now it's coming down. Inefficiency is usually just like very strong price action in either direction, where you see price nuke all the way through, and there are really no bids on the way down. And so usually, like in traditional markets, you see like gaps, and similarly in crypto, sometimes you'll see price want to fill these inefficiencies right here. Like when you see something nuke like this, you'll see price want to kind of like trade through it a little bit and have some trading activity. And you can see that more in volume profile as well when you open up volume profile. And like, so for instance, like if we were to have volume profile before this, it's like you might see like this inefficiency. It's like not really showing up great, but you'll see kind of like this gap right here in trading activity between like 230 and 260 or so. Anyways, that's like a little off topic. Where do I see LTC going? I see it coming back down to this like high volume node around 185 or so is like a pretty interesting area. It's also a SR flip. It's like 200-day EMA. It's pretty good confluence in general with that area. So this is like an area where I would start considering getting long around 190, 190 to like 180. DOT, this is my projection for DOT. I think that it potentially could pull back a little bit more. But DOT is a really strong coin for a lot of reasons. Number one, fundamentally, like it's a great project. Number two, like it's actually live, and like DOT was really hyped last winter, and it never really launched and came to fruition. But this time, I think it's possible that this might pull back a little bit more. But overall, I think it's a really good coin to maybe scale in on and like accumulate. So personally, I would probably consider accumulating from like here. This is like a support level, and I can delete this here. It is a support level, and I would accumulate anywhere from 40 to 30 or so. Like this is kind of like the accumulation area that I would look for. 200-day EMA, and like there's kind of like this higher volume area around $35. So this is kind of like the area that I would be looking to buy. But it's quite possible that price chops around, like this $40 area just continues to hold, and we just like see more chop, and then we see this new moon later on. Certainly a good project though. Okay, let's look at Luna. Luna looks like it was a weird price action. This is like the type of price action is not really it's not really super bullish, honestly. It's kind of like we kind of call this like stairs up, elevator down, where you just like see like slow grinding up and then like boom, market nuke type of thing. This is not really good though, because price never ever really reset. The candles were kind of crazy in both directions, so there was a lot of volatility. Not really. It didn't really look like bullish accumulation to me, and to me this looks like it needed a reset. So where am I looking to buy? This $35 area would be interesting in my opinion, but to me this chart isn't really very clear. There's like no significant SR levels that look very clean to me. So I personally will not be trading this. I mean, I'll look for the 200-day EMA around $30 or so. That would be pretty solid. But again, this chart doesn't look very clean to me. 35 would be a somewhat aggressive entry, but maybe a decent one. I don't really know. But again, the trend is just like on the 4-hour, it looks to me bearish. On the 1 day, I guess this is bullish, but like this area maybe was like the last interesting low to me, like around 35. So maybe we'll see something like price kind of hold and then go up like that, and that would still continue the bullish market structure if you do consider this the low. But again, like it's this type of price action is just kind of weird. It looks more like distribution to me, and it wouldn't surprise me to see this go a little bit deeper to like $30 or so. FTT, this coin is a stable coin. Sorry, owning more of this than Solana is like low IQ. I know that like triggers a lot of people, but I mean this is just like my opinion, and like I posted this on Twitter, this opinion as well. Several reasons for this. Like I don't see this really pulling a BNB quite yet. Like unless Sam like has some pretty cool shit with like FTT chain or whatever in the future. I don't know if there is going to be an FTT chain. I think that thing's called Solana, but yeah, I don't know. Let's just kind of see. As it stands, I mean, it looks fine. Like this is like an area that should be decent support theoretically. You'll want to watch out because this area has been bid quite a bit already, like this $50 area. You see your support back in September, like late September. Now you're seeing it tapped again in November. $45 should be a good area of interest, though. I mean, it was like support back in August, and yeah, I mean, it looks pretty solid overall. Like, I mean, this area should be a decent entry for FTT. If things go really bad, then like 36 or so like is a possibility, but I don't really see that happening anytime soon. Like I think that this area should hold this $45 200-day EMA, like SR fibs, like 618 fib. Like this should be a pretty good entry in my opinion. So you could maybe just average down around 45 or so, and then expect it to form some sort of low, and then like start making its way back up. But one thing that's a bit scary about this is that like it already kind of did that move, like it pulled back to like kind of like this 0.5618 area, and it already did kind of establish this lower high. So this type of bounce is kind of like already been done. So after thinking about it a little bit more, maybe like this isn't as good of like an entry as I thought. But if you want to like just hold this one for long term, like I believe in Sam, blah blah blah, like just go ahead and just buy it on 45. It should like hold, I think. Sand, this is like ridiculous coin for a lot of reasons. I should just like have not said this was going to pull back, because like when coins do what this is doing in environments like this where like everything's kind of like chopping or like mostly pulling back, then it's just really super strong. We've seen this in AXS, we've seen this in Solana. Like coins like this are just like ridiculously strong. For me personally, I mean, you can scale down to very low time frames if you want to start looking for like entries. I mean, this will pull back. Like, buying a 40% candle is probably not the best strategy. I would prefer to just remain patient. Could it keep going? Yeah, absolutely. It can keep going. But you want to buy in price action when it's like this, from the 350 to 470 area. This is the type of price action that you are looking for a quote unquote safer entry. When it's just straight parabolic like this, there's going to be inefficiencies to fill, and also like this will certainly pull back. I just don't know when or where. So generally, when I see coins doing stuff like this is the type of price action I like to buy. This is kind of like these bull flags, or like you see like price pulling back like mildly. Like those are the types of entries that I like to do, especially over kind of a multi-day period. This is really nice. This is like really what you want to buy, because price is just cooling off and taking a break, but usually there will be another run. But yeah, this is just like ridiculous. I would, as I said, I would not buy here. I'd wait for some sort of something like this or something like this where it's pulling back just a little bit, and then I would consider buying. But make sure that you're watching volume, you're watching lower time frames, and you're watching environment too. Similar to sand. So another technique that you can also use is that you can understand fundamental analysis if you're just a trader. It helps you a lot in terms of understanding the relationship. So for instance, if there's one clear leader, like in this case it's sand, then there's going to be other coins that lag behind that are also metaverse coins or other like NFT coins that are associated with sand. I mean, I can go on and on about these relationships, but for instance, like these laggards will usually not give you as strong a performance as the leaders. So for instance, mana should not perform as well as sand. With that said, like if you see sand up like 20% and mana is up like 2%, then you can just easily market buy mana, generally speaking, if the market conditions are good, and then just expect to buy. So for instance, price just now broke this wick, this like all-time high area. Still looks fine. As I said, like mana should follow sand for the most part. Like if I'm looking to get long, a little bit not super clean to me, like this kind of area around 425 looks interesting as an entry, as well as kind of like this 360. But again, I wouldn't expect these levels to come unless price like gets pretty bad. Okay, I'll start to move around a little quicker here, so I'm like talking a lot. Link, this is a scam coin because I bought it and it didn't go through with what I wanted. Thankfully, thankfully I got stopped out. I bought the breakout at like 30, like 3 or something like that, and it went up. And I was targeting kind of like this 42 area, but it didn't really happen. So got stopped out around. I took a small loss or so, like 30. One I think was kind of like this area, like this former highs when I got out. But anyways, Link, this coin was just not ready for a breakout. I mean, I thought that this was it. Like, it's tapped this resistance area like 5 times and it's still not ready to go. So expect more consolidation between $20 and 35. That's kind of my overall opinion. It's tapping this 200-day EMA quite a bit, so we're just going to see kind of like this kind of chop. Although it depends, I think the next time it should hit 35, it should get through soon, I think, because the sellers should be mostly out. Veracity, this coin was a KuCoin shitcoin. It was absolutely fucking insane. I mean, it went like really, really strong over the last few weeks and months. It is pulling back now. To me, I think that there should be actually a good entry around this 5 cents area. And this 4 cents area should be really good too. But I think a first good entry would be like this 5 area for a lot of reasons. Like there was like this former swing high area. It's like the former all-time highs back in April, and then fib confluence. It hasn't tapped these areas in a while. Like I think 0.048 would be like a great entry for this. Yeah, this is just like be a really good trade in my opinion. I'll take a look at this later. Woo, one of my favorite coins. I am a long-term investor in this one, and it is pulling back quite a bit. I always thought this area would be like a strong sell zone, kind of like, I mean, it kind of reminds me of Bitcoin in a way. Like, you see price break through all-time highs in Bitcoin, and then now you've seen it pull back quite a bit. So you never saw like this true move. Like, this one went 150 up back in May, and then now it broke up to 180. Now it's pulling back like pretty strongly. These candles are very like kind of scary, and like price pulled back quite a bit. If I'm looking to buy, this area currently is not terrible, but I probably would try to be a little bit more conservative and try to bid the 200-day EMA. For me, I'm just taking my coins, so like I'm not really worried about this short-term stuff. I think this is like still a good project. This would be an aggressive entry right here. Like, you see some support, or you should see some theoretical support with these areas here. Support comes resistance and vice versa. So yeah, that's like, but I would probably look to bid around like kind of like 90 cents or so. Haven Protocol, this one did pretty well. Some deep candles now. I would look to get long around $9. 200-day EMA. Kind of like this former, this kind of consolidation block before price mooned strong. So maybe if you want to be patient, around 850 or so would be like a decent entry. Like a lot of confluence in that area. And you can see too with the volume profile, like this is a high volume node around $8. So that is an area that you can consider getting long at. Wild, similar to sand and mana, this is also like absolutely mooning, crazy volume coming in, like really solid in my opinion. This is like the 200 EMA on the 4 hour. You can see it was like the perfect entry around $3. This will go as sand goes. So if sand starts pulling back huge, then wild should pull back as well. Equalizer, again, KuCoin, shitcoin. It is overall very choppy. And I think that maybe you'll see something like, overall range forming. So something like this would make a lot of sense to me, where you just see like kind of this resistance area and the support area, and then we just see like some more kind of chop overall with this one. Kind of like here. Good support should be around 30 cents, I think. Fear, this is an NFT coin that should have some sellers around this area up here. And we could already see one wick up around the 225 area. This resistance area, I'd have to like scroll to like like you can get more accurate initially with this, probably swing low, swing high. The way I like to think about these overall like demand zones, like I like to think of them as zones. Like, it depends on what type of trader you are. If you're a very precise trader, you'll have to like scale down to like the 5 minute or the 1 minute to like see like your key levels. But if you're just swing trading, then you'll just assume that this kind of quote unquote area will have like sellers in it. And that's usually the way I like to trade, depending on what I do. But I usually just swing, so I'll just like I'll just scale out in these types of situations where I'll just like, assume that this is going to have a lot of sellers. So you can assume that this area will have sellers. Fear overall, though, I mean, it looks like the chart still looks pretty strong in my opinion. Potential lower high, so watch out on the daily. And if it goes lower than 130, then we have a bearish market structure on the daily. But overall, it's still like it looks okay. MARSH, I'm reviewing a lot of KuCoin shitcoins because I was trading a lot on KuCoin in general, and yeah, like there was a lot of opportunity on KuCoin in my opinion. MARSH on Marshall, this one looks like it's headed lower. It looks like it's going to kind of like this 110 area. That's kind of like the area I would look to consider buying. This big volume spike up, like there wasn't enough buying follow up with that. It looks more like a bearish retest. It did take out a lot of sellers, but you'll want to see some sort of like reclaim of this 150 area, in my opinion, before calling it bullish. Flame, this was a metaverse coin as well, and it looks very kind of choppy right now. Some big candles in both directions. I am unsure of what this coin looks like. To me, this looks like it's just kind of consolidating around the $2 to $2.30 area. Like you're kind of seeing this. Kind of just seeing this consolidate. The 200 EMA on the 4 hour should provide some support. This is kind of like a dangerous entry area. I would probably look to wait around 180 personally. A little bit surprised that this hasn't followed the metaverse stuff, given sand and what have you, but it is a coin that looks like those coins are maybe pulling back a little bit. So DAOmaker, this is a coin that I am a big fan of because I work with the DAOmaker team every day. This coin looks very bullish in my opinion. Like we saw very high sell volume, which is a little bit scary, but it looks like the buyers just like bought it right back up. It looks really good. I mean, even with this like kind of high sell pressure, like it looks like to me that there were a lot of selling. There was a lot of selling going on, and then like buyers just kept buying. So To me, it still looks pretty decent. Again, where would I look to maybe get an entry? I mean, this type of price action is a little bit scary, but it looks like some sort of like, you know, like some sort of like TWAP in or something like that. But I mean, if I'm looking to get long, again, this chart isn't super clear to me, but maybe like $4 would be kind of interesting. 200 EMA on the 4-hour. Kai, this one looks like really strong. Wow. This one should have some sellers though in this area. So again, similarly to before, I'm not going to scale down to lower time frames, but this area will have sellers. So this is a very dangerous area. I would not personally buy here myself. You can see price consolidate like around here, but I think it's likely that this one has like some sort of bigger pullback eventually. I don't know where it will be, but I wouldn't buy here personally. I would look to get lower. Rose, this one went insane. I think this had like a big partnership with like Facebook or something. I don't remember, or Meta, whatever you want to call it. And you can see something was up too with like this insane buying that was going on. Like when you see big buying volume candles like this, it means something is up. Like insiders are buying, right? So slight accumulation area here, and you can see it in the chart. And now it's just like expanding. So someone obviously knew, as everything always happens in crypto. But yeah, still big like volume coming in. Like where would I look to get long? Maybe like 35 cents or so. Yeah, kind of like this area, like this. Just see it consolidate for a bit and then make another leg up. I don't know, something like it looks funky. Honestly, it doesn't look like super. It kind of reminds me of like this type of price action that we saw back in late November, but it's a different context too. DYDX, this one looks pretty bad. I mean, maybe it's like the VC's dumping. I don't know. Like this one like made a literal full fucking retrace from 26 to 11. It looks like it's going lower, to be honest. Like looks bad. Like you can maybe see this like what you want to see is you want to see this like consolidate for a while. You want to see the sell pressure stop. You want to see the sell. You want to see the sell pressure stop. You want to see people start to accumulate and get bored of this coin. And but honestly, it looks bad. Like I mean, this area has been like support, but maybe like $10 and even lower is coming. I have no idea. QNT also looks bad. I would consider buying. Maybe like getting close to getting to be a buy, maybe around like 180 to 200. But this is just like relentless sell pressure. Would just consider, yeah, getting long there. Star Atlas, this thing has a crazy fucking valuation, but it still looks really strong. I mean, this could probably be just good like for a coin that you just buy and hold for a while. I mean, TA wise, this 23 cents area should be this should be kind of like the next area up, I think, if it can clear this area. I mean, the nice thing about this chart is it's pretty clean. Like it seems to me it seems clean. To me, it just seems like a bullish market structure too. Like you see low here, and you see like a high here. Now it's if it breaks this high, then we'll see 23 cents next. Similarly, you can go down to lower time frames, and this is what I mean. Like if you go down to lower time frames, you'll see like more clean levels. Now you can go to the daily. So then these are the levels you mark for Star Atlas. ADA, this one looks, as I said, I think it looks like shit. 200 EMA acted as support briefly, but now it just like nuked through. I mean, I think this thing just, it's getting close to being a buy around 140, but I mean, the trend to me looks like pretty bearish on the 1 day. 140 would be interesting, or 150, and it's getting close because you see that this area was like formerly resistance, and now maybe it'll be support. Like I think that this is like an area to buy 150. Still not really a huge fan of this like chart though. It looks very choppy. RUNE. Cross-chain liquidity was great, and it did well. To me, this still looks okay. It looks like a bullish market structure to me. So you see high, higher high, you see a low, low. And now another low is forming. So expected to see more chop. And this is what you want to see for the low, though, too. Is you want to see coins like what it did in September to October, where it just chops around for a while. This is like a clean, established low where, you know, price just kind of forms this rounded bottom and accumulates for a while, and then now you see it like kind of going up. This is like, as I said, this is what you want to see. So again, you'll want to see that again. So you want to see like stuff like this, and then DUSK, one of my bags, looks neutral right now. Looks like it's having a hard time getting through this area as expected. Wouldn't necessarily buy personally. Maybe like maybe look to get long on 28 would be an aggressive entry. But again, that area has been bid a lot, so I don't really know. This chart to me is not super clean either. I got it much lower, so you know, is what it is. I actually accumulated this one quite a bit in September. And I was really upset, or not upset, I was just pissed off because I had the right idea of looking for ZK roll-up coins. Like that was the next narrative of layer 2. I just chose DUSK instead of LRC. And I did hop on LRC train later on, but man, I would have made a lot more money if I bought LRC instead of DUSK. But it is what it is. I can't complain. Hather, this is a coin that I really liked and I wanted to buy back in like 70 cents and 75 cents. Like this is like an area that I was eyeing for a long time. Like I thought the chart looks clean. I thought this project was great. Funny story, way back before it launched, I remember trying to buy this one in OTC and I was in their Discord. Like I think it was like me and Rookie were there too, trying to buy some. Like I even have a Hather wallet for the OTC coins, but I never ended up buying. So that was stupid of me. I wish I did, but it is what it is. Anyways, this one mooned, and now what you'll want to do for something like this is to do a Fibonacci extension. And you know, it's not necessarily the cleanest way to do it, but like it's one way to find coins in price discovery. So we'll do this. Okay, so usually it's like a good area. So like this is like 127 area was like, so it was like an area that was a selling area, like the 230 area. And you know, I expect these like 290 should be like pretty strong as well. This is a great project. Like 140 is when I'd start to get look to get long, I think. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was somewhat a little bit long, but I'm really excited to start pumping out content again. So please let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for the support, and talk to you guys soon.